So there I was on my trainer's training course to be an NLP trainer. So before that, I was driving a black cab. So I was a motorcycle courier, black cab driver, and I was into elements of self-development, and I was really interested in making a career out of that. So I was doing some coaching, but not really making any money. So I thought, well, okay, NLP is going to be the route, and an NLP trainer would be my ultimate route. So I spent more money than I had. The credit card came out, the credit card was maxed. I spent, I think it was £7,000, flew over to America, because in those days, that's where the best training was. So I'm there in America, maxed out my cards. If I came back with no certificate, I'm in trouble, big trouble. And what we were judged on was, we were judged on 2 presentations. So we're given our training, and then we're judged on just 2 presentations. So my first presentation, I failed. And I failed on not keeping my trainer's state. So my presentation actually was all right. And the people afterwards said, you know, that was a really good presentation. But what I did do was, I didn't like my presentation very much. So what happened was, as I finished my presentation, I started harking on myself. And I failed because of harking on myself, not because of my presentation. So I was saying debilitating things about myself, like, oh, I didn't do that very well, and it wasn't very good, and I lost my trainer's state. So that was what I was failed on, losing my trainer's state. So I had one presentation, or I'm out. So I was doing this presentation. Now, in this presentation, I was telling a metaphor, because metaphors are always good for presentations. So, and in this metaphor, what's supposed to be happening, I was talking about Robert, and this guy Robert that I knew, and he ran self-development courses, and he was a great mentor towards me, and I really liked him. And in the metaphor, he's in the training room, and he's delivering a training. Okay, so I started like that, and there Robert was there, and he's in the training room, he's delivering a training, and I'm there, and then I went completely blank. I went absolutely completely blank. And I forgot what I was doing. I've even forgotten the metaphor and everything. But you know, when you just go absolutely blank, you don't know what you're doing there, kind of what your name is, and have you got 5 toes or 6? I'm not quite sure, really, at this point. But I knew it was quite crucial, I remember that. And I remembered what's important. You have to keep your trainer's state. Now, whatever happens, keep your trainer's state. So I'm standing there, I say, oh, great, keep your trainer's state. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just standing there blankly, but with my trainer's state. And then time was ticking on. It's like, keep your trainer's state, keep your trainer's state. Now, we were taught, if you had a really tricky situation and you went blank, what you should do, you must reach down and find something you didn't know you had and pull it up. And then with that thing that you didn't know you had, and that power and that intelligence and that knowingness, and then you'll find something and you'll continue. So I reached down and I went to pull something up that I didn't know I had, and there was nothing there. It was like, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, things which are supposed to be there. Thanks a lot for things that you didn't know you have, that I didn't know I have, and I still don't know that I have. So there I am, and I'm in my trainer's state. And I think it must have been, I don't know, because time kind of goes a bit weird when you're like that, it must have been a minute or a minute and a half, where I'm still saying absolutely nothing. And so I thought to myself, now you have to say something. You just have to say anything. You have to open your mouth and just say something, and because it's going to be weird otherwise. And it already was for me. So I said, and there was a forest. Remember, it's supposed to be Robert in the training. There was a forest, and then there was a tree, and on the branch of the tree, and then I remembered, I'm supposed to be talking a metaphor about Robert in the training room, and I said, and Robert was on the branch. And he climbed down that tree, and he went straight back into that train, and then I continued the metaphor. And nobody said a word. In the feedback, nobody said a word about how come that guy was up a tree when he's supposed to be in the training room. Because what you start to notice is, it isn't about the words. It's not about the words. It's about you connecting with the audience, staying in your trainer state, and then having an intention to give service to those ears which are listening. And that's what really matters. That's the only thing that really matters to the audience. Are you connecting with them? Are you with them? Or are you doing something else with yourself, kind of thing? So that's so that's where we're going to go to begin with, to show you how useful your now state is. So the other use, obviously, as a presenter, the other use of the now state is you can see everybody simultaneously. You know what they're doing, you know what state they're in, you know whether they're interested or not interested. You can check out who the rapport leaders are in the room. You can see that because you can see when they move, everybody else starts moving. So you can even check out who's the rapport leader to give them a little bit more attention sometimes. You'll notice the rapport leader, they cross their leg and then everybody else starts crossing their leg. Or they just move like this and everybody else moves like this, like a wave. So even in a room of 100 people, you can check out who are the rapport leaders in the room. And they will change from time to time. They don't always just stay the same. So knowing that your audience is what they're doing, how they're connecting with you, you can then apply your ability to pace and match the audience. So we're going to do that as an exercise. We're going to start off, and this is a fun. Most of the exercises that I think, to me, all of them are fun. You will have to take feedback afterwards to see how much fun you thought they are, but they are set up to be as fun and enjoyable as possible, because we think that's what presenting should be. We do know that the second biggest fear on the planet is public speaking. We do know that. So for me, it shouldn't be like that, because what you're doing here is you're just being, really. And we're going to show you how important it is just to be in front of the room, and how much you can affect an audience without having to have words as well. So we'll start off by just showing you how aware you can be of an audience, so you can check with yourself, and under pressure as well. So what we're going to do, we'll split into two groups.